What if I told you that in a tiny Chinese village with a population of just 1,000 people, there are more snakes than people in an entire metropolis? 3 million reptiles in an area smaller than a square kilometer. Here every morning begins with checking the locks on cobra enclosures. Here school children study viper anatomy instead of geography. Here the local hospital keeps more anti-venom than entire countries. And most importantly, here ordinary farmers have become millionaires, turning deadly danger into a gold mine. How a simple village seized control of the global snake market. This place actually exists, and today we will dive into the amazing world of snake farming, where venom is more valuable than gold and ancient secrets have transformed into a multi-million-dollar industry. The history of snake farming in China goes back to ancient times. Even during the Ming dynasty, local residents noticed the healing properties of snake meat and venom. Traditional Chinese medicine has used snakes for centuries to treat various ailments, from arthritis to skin problems. However, the real boom in snake farming began in the 80s of the last century. Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms opened new opportunities for entrepreneurship. Farmers from poor mountain regions were looking for alternative sources of income. It was then that several brave farmers decided to turn ancient knowledge into modern business. They started with a few dozen snakes in homemade enclosures. No one could have imagined that this would be the beginning of something global. Today, this small village controls 30% of all snake production in China. And China, in turn, dominates the global market, occupying 70% of all sales. The numbers are simply mind-boggling. Imagine a labyrinth of enclosures where dozens of snakes live in every square meter. This is not chaos, but a clearly organised system. Every enclosure is listed. Every snake is accounted for. Modern technology meets ancient traditions. Young female snakes begin reproducing at 9 months old. They lay 12 to 20 eggs at a time. This is a real conveyor belt of life, where hundreds of new snakes appear every day. Farmers have learned to control temperature and humidity to the exact degree. Snakes are sensitive to the slightest climate changes. One wrong step can destroy an entire generation of reptiles and deprive a family of their annual income. But what makes this industry truly golden? Snake venom. 1 gram of this substance costs from $400 to $700. Pharmaceutical companies are willing to pay such money for the liquid gold of the 21st century. The venom extraction process requires incredible skill. An experienced farmer can milk a snake in seconds without harming it. One cobra gives only a few drops of venom at a time, but these drops are valued at a fortune. 60% of farmed snakes go to medicinal wine production. This is not just an alcoholic beverage, but a real health elixir according to the Chinese. The snake is placed in rice wine and aged for at least 6 months. A bottle of such wine can cost up to $1,100. Wealthy Chinese and tourists are willing to pay such money for the opportunity to try an ancient drink. They say it gives strength and prolongs youth. 40% of snakes end up in restaurant kitchens. Snake meat is considered a delicacy in southern Chinese provinces. It is served in the most expensive establishments, where one dish can cost several $100s. Chefs claim that snake meat tastes like chicken, but with a more tender texture. It is prepared in soups, grilled, added to traditional dishes. Each cooking method requires special skills. Farmers in this village earn from $50,000 a year. This is huge money for rural China, where the average income is several $1,000s. Success did not come immediately. The first years were full of failures and losses. Snakes died from diseases, farmers got bitten, the market was unstable. Many gave up, but the most persistent continued to perfect their craft. Today the village has an entire infrastructure. There are veterinary clinics specialising in reptiles. Local schools train future snake farmers. Even children from an early age know how to handle venomous snakes. Interestingly, quail farming is also developing in parallel. China produces 80% of the world's 1.5 billion quail. These small birds serve as food for snakes and a source of dietary meat for people. The connection between snake and quail farming is not accidental. Young snakes feed on quail eggs and chicks. This creates a closed production cycle where waste from one industry becomes raw material for another. Export of snake products brings the village millions of dollars a year. The main buyers are located in Japan, South Korea, and Southeast Asian countries. Even in Europe and America, interest in traditional Chinese medicine is growing. Safety remains the main problem. Despite all precautions, venomous snake bites occur regularly. The village has a special emergency service with anti-venom supplies. The young generation of farmers receives education in specialized institutes. They study reptile biology, veterinary medicine, and business fundamentals. These are no longer just peasants, but highly qualified specialists. Environmental issues also raise debates. Critics argue that mass snake breeding can disrupt the natural balance. Supporters respond that farming reduces pressure on wild reptile populations. The Chinese government actively supports the development of this industry. Subsidies are allocated, research centres are built, new quality standards are developed. Snake farming has become part of the national economic strategy. Tourism also brings additional income. Thousands of people come to see snake farms, try exotic dishes, and buy souvenirs. Some farmers have opened guest houses for curious travellers. Competition forces farmers to constantly improve. New snake breeds appear, more productive and disease-resistant. Breeding work is conducted at a scientific level with the involvement of geneticists. International quality standards are becoming increasingly strict. European and American buyers demand safety certificates and confirmation of humane animal treatment. This forces production modernization. This story shows how traditional knowledge can transform into a modern business worth millions of dollars. A small village has become the center of a global industry, proving that size does not always matter. Subscribe to our channel to learn more amazing stories from around the world. What do you think about snake farming? Share your opinion in the comments.